Hello, everyone. Dr. Anna Quebeca here, the girlfriend doctor. And today we're going to talk about DIY hand sanitizer. And to do that, because we're talking all the time, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. I pulled out my essential oil collection, my essential oil, some witch hazel, I had my daughter bring her essential oils. Do you guys essential oil? Does that look like this for you? Anyway, I want to share some key things about what it is to really naturally cleanse, naturally detoxify, naturally boost your immune system, as we're all talking about wash your hands. So with me today, I have my dear friend, my girlfriend, Magdalena Wszelaki. She is here. She's in Boulder right now, and I am thrilled to have you, Magdalena. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Gosh, I thank you for doing this, especially now that you are in the midst of your book launch. And so I really appreciate you doing this.
Well, I'm thrilled. Thank you for coming on. And I'm excited to learn along with you because I've got my piles of essential oils, and I even brought my little empty bottle. I can make, yes. And typically my little empty bottles, right? So we're going to cleanse everything.
Yeah.
Especially now we're loosening cold, right? Loosening cold with, loosening our freedoms a little bit, regaining our freedoms a little bit to roam, that we stay protected, and how important this is for us. And I want to go ahead and get started. I did promise. We had a client email in asking for advice, and I thought we could talk about this first, then we'll get right into DIY hand sanitizers. And I had done a earlier girlfriend doctor live here with my dear friend Ellie Campbell, and talking about coronavirus. And this client said, I've already have symptoms. I'm taking 50 grams of zinc, 400 grams of magnesium, vitamins B, 1,000 milligrams of C, 4,000 micrograms of D, which isn't enough, omega-3, black garlic. I eat really well with lots of garlic and onions. What else can I do? So I want to address that probably 400 milligrams of magnesium versus 400 grams. I'm sure that's incorrect. So 400 milligrams, and same thing with zinc, 50 milligrams of zinc. So just checking on that symptomatology, but 1,000 of vitamin C. We need to increase vitamin C to bowel tolerance, and also 10,000 to, early onset of symptoms. We really want to optimize vitamin D. 10,000 I use, even more on a daily basis. And definitely listen to my talk with Dr. Ellie Campbell from yesterday. But regarding black garlic, what to eat, what else can I do? I figured this would be a perfect conversation to have with you, Magdalena, too, as far as medicinal herbs. And then we're going to put on our body to, number one, decrease our infectivity, and also to keep us clean too, for those around us that are not, are at risk for exposure.
So, so you're putting me a little bit in a spot. So you want to talk about herbs?
I just want to mention, a couple herbs. What are you doing? Do you know?
Yeah. So, sorry, I was like all hand sanitizer today. No problem at all.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to get right to the hand sanitizer, but while I have your expertise.
So a couple of things. So really interesting. One of the is a recipe that if folks go on my blog, hormonesbalance.com, we have the recipe, which is basically the garlic and lemon syrup. And so what it is, you take garlic, you take lemon, the full lemon, including the rind, and a bit of ginger, and you crush it all up and put honey on top of it, right? And you do a teaspoon 2-3 times a day. So the beauty of it is that you have the garlic, which is hugely antiviral, which we all know that, and anti-everything pretty much. So that's amazing. Remember, one thing is that I'm not sure about, this lady mentioned, for example, black garlic. Black garlic goes through a significant amount of time of fermentation. And in order to get the benefit, the antiviral properties from garlic comes from allicin, which gets released when you crush the garlic and you leave it alone for about 10 minutes. Now, when you cook it for more than 6 minutes, allicin gets killed. Okay, so that's why it's really important to have a freshly fresh garlic and not, I wouldn't bet on black garlic having the same properties. But more importantly, why are we eating a full lemon? Or you can also use orange. I actually, in the recipe that I'm showing on the video, I use a full orange. You chop it up, including the skin. And you might sound really weird, but the interesting thing is that in the rind of the orange, the white part, not the orange part, but the white part of the skin, we have something called hesperetin, which is, now we know, it's an ACE2 blocker, that's the receptor that the coronavirus gets into the cells. So that's another incredible benefit of that recipe. Couple of other herbs to consider is moringa, one of my absolute favorites, and galangal. So both of them are the NRF2 huge activators, and that's the part of the anti-inflammatory pathway that's going to help with the current infections as well. And so moringa, you can get it for quite a number of different places, and it's a very, very, not just anti-inflammatory, but it's full of protein. It's just a wonderful herb, grows like crazy around India and in Hawaii. It's almost a weed. And so you can sprinkle that on your salad, put it into smoothies, just a couple of teaspoons a day. It's more than enough to incorporate.
I love it. Thank you. Thanks for that tip and for a client's question. All right, so let's do it yourself. Do it yourself, and like hand cleanser. So we want to talk about do it yourself hand cleanser. Like for those watching, if you guys do not know, like my famous DIY video has over 100,000 views on YouTube, is my do-it-yourself lubricant. So we're bringing Magdalena here. We're gonna totally switch.
It's all about the timing, right?
What's important to us right now?
Cool, right? Would I have ever thought that? So just a little backstory for your audience, just as like a little curiosity thing. I was supposed to launch our skincare brand, right? And we got everything ready and we're supposed to launch, but this is not the right time to launch. And so my manufacturer called me and he says, I can make you a hand sanitizer instead. I'm like, okay. So that's what we have. And it's a really nice and clean one, but I want to show folks how to DIY it in case you can get hold of the ingredients that are out there. So basically, that's a little backstory of a hand sanitizer. But I would have never ever thought, if I had a fortune teller telling me a year ago you're gonna launch with a hand sanitizer, I would be like, you better change your job.
But the big thing, Magdalena, you couldn't find it for yourself, and nothing was satisfactory that wasn't toxic ingredient. So and you shared with me a slide, and I'll share that in a minute, like the common hand cleanser versus what we should be using that to help empower. But we've got Courtney here is saying, oh my gosh, same here. Like, love these two ladies. And Jean, our superstar, she goes, Magdalena is the queen of remedies and herbs. She is an herbalist now, Jean. And she goes, I love watching her tutorials and hearing her voice. Thank you, ladies. I know, I love it too. Like, I am mastermind with this woman. She is fabulous. Oh, Layla wrote in here. Layla wrote from Facebook, how may I know how many garlic and honey in a lemon? So lemon, garlic, honey for our elixir here.
Yeah. So, in the recipe that I made, and I don't know whether we're able to post this, but it's basically you could take as many as 10 cloves of garlic, crush it. You take about a 4 to 6 inch piece of ginger, chop it up really nicely for julienne it, and then do it across so you get these little chunks. And then you do half an orange. This again, chopped up to very small pieces, and you put as much honey as needed to cover all of that. And let it stand for about an hour, because then the honey is gonna extract all the juice from the orange, and it's gonna be very tasty. It's actually an amazing syrup, and people just absolutely love it. I know it doesn't taste terribly compelling, but it really is. I've had people mailing us saying, I had all the sugar cravings, especially now during this stressful time. I'm just like becoming a sugar junkie in order to, is my way of managing stress. And then this person said, I just had a couple of teaspoons, and that's just not only satisfying in terms of my cravings, but it actually takes away all the cravings further down the road, just later in the day completely. So yeah.
So I put that here: 10 cloves garlic crushed, 4 to 6 inch ginger chunked, half orange chopped. Cover with honey and let stand for an hour. This is Magdalena's recipe for immune boost.
Thank you for posting this. And I will tell you, as much as it might sound really weird to be eating the peel of the orange, in this combination is actually going to taste really delicious. You're going to love it.
That sounds great. All right. So I'm going to switch the display here, and you've got some bottles around you right there. Let's look at that. Let me see.
Yeah. So I want to show folks how easy it is to make.
Oops. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. They will try this again.
All right. Perfect. So that's the view we need. So, I just prepared this just to show folks how easy it is. Basically, it's a 3-ingredient formula. That's all you really need, right? Which is alcohol, glycerin to remoisturize your hands, and xanthan gum and this is completely optional, just to thicken this so that it becomes more like a gel-like consistency. And so I will tell you that we discussed about doing this video last night, and I didn't realize I actually ran out of my Everclear. Everclear has got a super high 95% alcohol content. So instead, for demo purposes, I'm going to use my isopropyl alcohol, which is only 70%. Now, you have to remember that in order to, if you're dealing with, specifically you're preventing coronavirus, Corona has got a lipid layer outside. It's got a layer of fat. And in order to break that layer, in order to get into the virus and get rid of it, you need to break that. So according to CDC, you've got to have a formula that is at least 60% of alcohol or above. It's a balancing act between how much alcohol versus glycerin and other things you want to add on, because the issue is drying of your hands, right? No secret, alcohol is super drying for your hands. And then if you want to put too much glycerin in order to moisturize your hands, you also going to lower the alcohol content to be too low to be effective. So for the demo purposes, let's just pretend. So all you have to do is that if you have at home a 95% or 99% alcohol, great. If you can get your hands on Everclear, which is, I actually had Everclear. I thought I had it at home, and I was making tinctures the weekend before, and I actually used up all my Everclear for all my tinctures, and I didn't realize I ran out. So I'm going to show you how simple this is. And then if you can't get hold of your hands on high content of alcohol, then there is another option. Now I'll show you that in a second. So let's just pretend you're working with Everclear. That's 95% of alcohol, right? And if you've got this is probably like a 2-ounce bottle here, right? If you have a bottle like this, can be plastic, can be glass, it doesn't really matter. What you're gonna do then is you're basically gonna eyeball it, right? And say, well, if I fill up the whole bottle with Everclear, which is 95% of alcohol, my end product has to have, let's just say 60% or 70%, right? So you eyeball it, and then you will fill that up to, a third or less of that with glycerin. So you want to start off with glycerin first. So let's just do that. Now, glycerin is this lovely substance that actually some glycerin is even edible. I'm using one from now. That you should be able to get on Amazon quite easy. I think that's pretty available. So let me fill it up a little bit more. Okay, that's about, you're right, that's about a third of the bottle. It was actually less than a third, but I'm just going to be conservative because I'm saying, all right, I want to have, let's say, 70% or 80% of alcohol. All right, this is going to probably make about 70% of alcohol now total. So then you take your alcohol, okay, and we are pretending that this is Everclear, which is 90%, and then you're going to fill it up right till the top of this lovely bottle. And as you can see, they mix quite well together. So all we have to do is just give it a bit of a shake. And this is going to be very liquid, right? So some people don't mind it at all. They are perfectly fine with using this and say, look, I can just go with that. However, if you want to thicken it to like a more of a gel consistency, so it becomes a hand gel rather than a liquid, that's when you use something called xanthan gum. I use xanthan gum for a lot of my baking because I do a lot of gluten-free baking, and xanthan gum acts like as a replacement for gluten. It basically gives a lot of more elasticity to your baked goods. So again, how much you want to put in is kind of up to you. In what we're going to do is I'm just going to start off with one generous pinch and maybe a couple. And this is going to take a couple of minutes to really solidify, but we can keep talking and you will see that this is going to become more of a gel. So this is going to, like I said, need a minute or two to really become more of a gel, okay? And that's it. That's all you need to do, and that's your formula, right? And this is like something like this. If you used Everclear and glycerin in the proportion I showed, this is containing probably 75% of alcohol right now, right? With a little bit of that glycerin. Glycerin is completely naturally derived. In fact, some glycerin can actually be consumed. A lot of tincture and herbal formulations use glycerin as part of the formula for a whole variety of reasons. It's very nice and sweet, but also externally used, it's going to re-moisturize your hands. And that's the main purpose of using that in here, okay? So who here is going to make this? So simple, right? And, you don't have to break your back. Of course, the problem right now is supplies, right? A lot of people can't get hold of alcohol, 90%, because the priority is given to hospitals. My banker told me that a lot of the whiskey companies, we have quite a big whiskey industry outside of Denver. Everybody has switched gears to making ethanol right now, and it's all going towards the hospitals and mass producers, manufacturers, right? So, if you can get hold of it, or maybe you have old supplies like the way I had Everclear, in my supplies, then great. If you don't, then
1 second, Magdalena, Everclear. I've never heard of that. What is that?
Yeah, Everclear is a 95%, 190 proof alcohol. That's used you can get it from alcohol stores. If it's available. Like I don't even know whether mine is available right now or not, because I got mine before Corona, which was not an issue. So you use Everclear herbalists use that as a extraction mechanism, right? As an extraction tool. There are certain things that you need high alcohol content in order to extract the constituents out of roots, for example. A lot of things that are resinous wouldn't require high alcohol content. So things like, for example, give you an example, vodka is only 80 proof, which is 40% of alcohol. Way too low to make that into a lotion. The witch hazel that you had in your baggie just now, that's 14% of alcohol. Very nice on any other day, but not now, right? If you're talking about like the cleaner that I use for my entire house is white vinegar based and water, right? Again, that's not gonna break the fat that we're talking about in the coronavirus, but it's great for being an antibacterial, like if you're just cleaning your house and you don't wanna use nasty chemicals. People also ask a lot of questions about, what about essential oils? Can I put essential oils in here? And you absolutely can. And, whether it's something that's highly antimicrobial, oregano will be the highest, followed by thyme and lemon and lime. Tea tree oil, interestingly, is not as antimicrobial as the marketing of it has been telling us this whole time. However,
that's interesting, because I did pull out my tea tree oil. I was thinking, okay, this has got to be good. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. So olive oregano, which, that as a holistic OBGYN, like how effective olive oregano is, for example, against candida, right? But, so tea tree oil, it's not a useless oil, but it's just not going to be as antimicrobial. Are these essential oils effective against corona? The answer is no. According to CDC, there's not going to do much. But, there's also a lot of other bugs that we want to get rid of. And so I would still put some essential oils to my formulation too, just for the fun of it. So it smells also quite nice, right? Yeah.
So with that, so that's the Everclear high concentration. We want 80% or greater alcohol. And
so according to CDC, it's 60% or higher of alcohol.
60% higher. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so that's the, 60% or higher, and you're using the Everclear at 80%, or if you had it. And then the glycerin, and then a little bit of the xanthan gum just to thicken it.
Yes.
That base combination should break through the viral component. And yet we don't want to make it too drying that creates cracks. And, like a lot of the Purells and other are very, very drying, and we're getting the cracks in our hands, creating more exposure issues, honestly.
We really do. And, and as much as they have removed triclosans, which is already a big win, there is still a lot of, I send you a list of things that are found in Purell, and Lysol is actually really, really bad. That are serious endocrine disruptors. They're carcinogenic. They're using phthalates in it. It's really, really bad news. And so, I think the first preference is if you can make it yourself. And if you want to have a backup option, this is what I was saying at the beginning of the call. We ended up making our own hand sanitizer called the Welena hand sanitizer. Welena is our new brand. And I wanted to just show you. So this is exactly the same formula. Just what I showed you being made here is exactly what's in here. 70% of alcohol is glycerin and xanthan gum. That's it, nothing else. If you want to add your own essential oils to make it a personalized scent, you're absolutely most welcome to do so. So I just want to show you the consistency of it, right? So you can see like the kind of a jelly feeling, right? That's the xanthan gum that makes it so, right? I mean, of course I can smell the alcohol, but because of the glycerin, like we don't have, I've been using it for like 3 days straight just to test it out, and my hands get slightly dry. And if you guys want me to talk about some of my favorite ways of re-moisturizing your hands, then let me know, and I can mention a couple of things. But I also put 2 drops of vitamin E in my sanitizer blend. Is that okay? Absolutely, yeah. So vitamin E is just a great preservative, and it can also help your skin, but it's mainly used as a preservative, which quite frankly, if you feel like it helps your skin, great, but as a preservative, it's pretty useless because alcohol is an amazing preservative already on its own. So this is not going to go bad, Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let me share real quickly. Let me share this image. So I hope you guys can see that. That is the, personalizing your hand sanitizer with essential oils. Magdalena made this image for us to share, and you guys, go back to that image. There we go. So you can see that. Can you see that pretty well, you guys? Okay. And so that has the, the different oils like calming, lavender, chamomile, ylang ylang, and awakening, peppermint, orange, eucalyptus, the anti-inflammatory, thyme, peppermint, and eucalyptus, and antimicrobial, lemon, oregano, sage, and thyme. So this is a way to personalize your hand sanitizer. And then Magdalena, you want to talk about this one?
Yeah, so we did like a quick comparison of, like Purell versus our sanitizer, right? We looked at a whole bunch of things. You can see what Purell is really short on is it works as an antibacterial and antifungal. And one thing I will say here, I'm not like, if you have no other choice, but you only have a Purell left at home, or you have Lysol right now, just use it because it's still better than being exposed, right? But if you have run out and you're looking for something cleaner, I'm just presenting the Welena as an option, right? Mm-hmm. So what things like Purell and Lysol will contain, which is very troubling for me, is things like contains dyes that are also very drying for the skin. It's got a whole bunch of toxins, and I send you, Anna, the whole list of the different toxins, right? It's got fragrances in the form of phthalates, which are known to be a huge endocrine disruptor. And there is a whole bunch of other, especially Lysol is very problematic, including using ingredients that are F-grade on EWG, which is harmful, just outright harmful, and well documented as harmful ingredients. So I think a lot of people right now are just worried about, I just want to get my hand sanitizer no matter what. And it's true, but I think it's a short-term strategy that works, and that's the only thing you have. But I just want to let you know that there is a safer option out there too. And it can be effective just by being super clean.
Yeah. And again, because we're in this for the long haul, right? We're in this for the long haul. We are going to be using this for a long time. So reducing exposure to harmful ingredients is always important. And so I love your product, and that's why I want to introduce it to our list. Oops, go back. Just that no hormone disrupting chemicals. It's been, again, following the guidelines recommended by the CDC, and that yet you can personalize it with the essential oils. So I love that. And then this suggestion of the essential oils. So fabulous. Thank you. I'm going to put a link here for you guys to take a look at that and see. Let's see. We had another question here. Let's hold on a second. Got some questions. Deborah Sisson. Hey, Deborah. Hey, I got your email into our group today, by the way, thanking us for the lives. And I just want to thank you for showing up here and being so amazing, and a wise woman leading an army around her that is just fabulous. So thank you, Jean, the same way. Thank you. Jean asked the questions. Do expirations on alcohol apply? I have a 70 and a 90% and realize they are expired. Seems strange, and especially after you saying will not expire.
Yeah, so that is a nuance, right? So the FDA and USDA requires you to expire product no matter what. And the truth is, like, even honey has expiry date. And the truth is, like, how many of you have had honey you found in the back of the shelf several years later and it's still fine, right? So alcohol is pretty much the same way. If that was true, you wouldn't be enjoying wine that's 300 years old and pay $5,000, $8,000, $80,000 for a bottle, right? Right. So yeah, that's my explanation. It won't expire. Go ahead and use it, and especially if you're using that topically.
Yeah, the same is true with our expiration dates on our products. Or if it's skincare, if it's in there, often even supplements, usable past the expiration date. And it's just something we have to do, like 2 years, 3 years, and then all the testing you have to go through in order to claim additional years after that. So I am not big on, is certainly not big on throwing away anything like that, for sure. All right, thank you, Jean. That's a great question. I have very sensitive skin to fragrances and essential oils. What formula will work with me without using essential oils? So again, the example that you showed, your base formula, your Rolena hand cleanser doesn't have essential oils, so you could add them in, which is nice, because I know there are many people that are very sensitive to smells. Like, I love certain smells, but yet I know that there's an intolerance issue to many smells. So that's the nice thing. You can customize your own smell. And that was Helpful Natural from YouTube. Thanks for watching on YouTube. And Cheryl said, I saw a demo the other day how flammable Purell was even after a flip was out.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't tried to put this on fire yet. I probably will do that afterwards, because I like to experiment. I mean, it's a given. Like, when you have that much amount of alcohol, I think it's bound to catch something. But I think what's more troubling to me is the other things that are in there.
Yeah. So I put the links up here in the chat box. So you guys, if you are in a group, sometimes you can't see these links. So definitely go to @Dr. Anna C on my Facebook page. And Magdalena, your website, Hormones Balance, let people know how to get in touch with you, how to connect with you. And also, your emails are my favorites. Like, I am a subscriber to Magdalena's email. She gives tremendous amount of value, information, guidance, and inspiration that I just love and completely trust. So I encourage you to go ahead and sign up to her newsletter. Definitely, I am 100% in and trusting her products and her recommendations. Actually, Magdalena, we spent time, like the last time we were in Europe and Italy before all of this. Oh my God, what a blessing that we were there in Milan, in northern Italy. We went to the Swiss Mountain Clinic. Magdalena was hosting a retreat there. So we hung out in infrared sauna, ate, detoxed. So fabulous. So you can, I will follow her halfway around the world.
Oh, it's so good to have you there.
Mira, come here.
Mom's calling.
Yeah, I'm like, get here.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, love. I love you.
I love you too. I miss you.
I miss you. Switzerland was great.
Switzerland was great. Amira joined us while she was studying in Europe.
Stop doing that to me.
I hope they remember. Do they remember any of the herbal stuff that I taught them? We went foraging for herbs.
Oh, they remember it. Absolutely. And it even made tea the other day too, like following your guidance, because we've been planting our herbal garden. And so we made some tea. So I'd love for you to talk about that. Definitely, Magdalena, say your website, where to find you. I also put the link in here for her hand sanitizer, her Walena skincare. If Magdalena puts it out, it's clean, it's good, it's valuable. So you guys, yeah.
So my website is just hormonesbalance.com, hormones with an S, hormonesbalance.com, and you can find all the things right there.
Hormonesbalance.com. And also her recipes are amazing, and her book, Cooking for Hormone Balance. Beautiful, so well done, such a great guide. Thank you, Magdalena. Thank you all. So don't forget hormonesbalance.com. And Magdalena, thanks for being here. Stay safe, stay awesome, and thanks for your guidance. We'll definitely bring you back, because there's always some great tips. So I'm excited for the DIY. We were in that branch that we definitely didn't have any alcohol. So we still haven't restocked on our alcohol. So we'll definitely do that. And anyway, I'm using your hand sanitizer, so I'm good for when I leave the house. And actually, to tell you the truth, I'll tell you what happened. I'm sharing a video on Instagram tomorrow, but on my stories and on my Facebook story is I had purchased as a clinician from one of my suppliers, IgM, IgG antibody testing for the coronavirus. And so I'm like, okay, we've got a family wedding coming up. I need to test everyone just to be on the safe side. And really, have we been exposed? We were in Italy together, and I was in Portland just, at the end of March. And so was I exposed? Was I not exposed? I write in my blog about the man I was sitting next to with the mask on, right? Like, did he have coronavirus? Well, lo and behold, everyone I tested over 20 people in my inner circle. We've all been taking precautions here on our little island, and even my world travelers, and all of us were negative. Even those several clients who were very sick, felt like it was coronavirus in January, February, and I tested like the sickest they've ever been. You're like, oh, surely it was coronavirus. Antibodies were negative. So today I just tested one confirmed gentleman, age 72, history of lung cancers, operating on 1.5 lungs. 1.5 lungs. He made it through. He was COVID positive. March 23, he came back testing positive. His wife of 50 years, y'all, his wife at age 70, soon to be 71, tested negative on April 7th. So this is, and she was sick as could be. She tested negative. I tested them both with antibody testing today. Both of them have IgG antibodies. And so great for them. They're definitely showing immunity. They formed antibodies, unlikely or less likely to get reinfected now that they've already formed an immune response. We just don't know for sure. But for me, it was just kind of that realization, like, okay, with this prevalence, it's really, not as, not as prevalent. And so just widespread testing would help us so much. So I think this is why doing what we can do, like me there, wearing a mask, using my hand sanitizer. I used Argentine silver in my nasal passageways and gargled with it before and when I came back, just to reduce exposure. And I had my glasses on. So those precautions, right? And yet, how fascinating she tested COVID negative, but yet she also had antibodies, and both of them in their 70s, right? Him with a history of cancer.
I'm really waiting for to get more information about why does it impact us so differently from person to person. You know very well, like a month and a half ago, I was already very, very nervous about what was going on. I know you were still kind of laughing about it. A lot of people were thinking, it's because it wasn't so real, but because I had a friend who was on that infamous, ill-fated diamond cruise, princess cruise, right? Imagine a family of 4, him and his wife and mom and dad celebrating their 50th anniversary, right? The wife doesn't get it at all, nothing, right? I mean, she shares the room with my friend. He gets a mild pneumonia-like, cold-like symptoms, His mom gets very sick. His father dies. You tell me how 4 people hanging out with each other all together, one doesn't get it, and then from the extreme, right, from the extreme of nothing to death, and all of them exposed to the same thing. So fascinating, and I'm so curious to find out more about, like, is it our genes? Is it something that there's certain deficiencies that we have that some people just suffer so much and die, and others, just breeze through it, like that lady.
Well, she didn't necessarily breeze through it, but she tested negative, and yet she thought for sure she had it. And how interesting that is. So,
right, okay.
Again, catching it and then finding IgM, IgG, or we found IgG antibodies. I just have a big shout out for Danny Williamson, one of my
Danny,
practitioners there in Nashville. We love you, Danny. I am actually. Danny, I am still relishing. She sent me a bottle of wine, and I'm still up. Danny, how perfect that you showed up today. Cheers to you, Danny. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
It's only 3 o'clock here, so I'm not going to drink to you, Danny. It's a bit too early.
5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock here. And Deborah said, can we use vodka for alcohol? You did address it. It's just not, it needs to be.
It's not strong enough. I mean, like I said, it's 40%. Maybe, Deborah, you join us later. Vodka's got 40% of alcohol. And you need at least 60% as a starting, 60% alcohol total content, right? So after, like, if you're adding your glycerin, you've got to have at least 70% or more.
Yep. And helpful natural posting on YouTube. Just share. Yep. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. And thank you for this, Magdalena. Again, there's so much that, we're in this for the long haul. We are in this for the long haul and doing these little, every little step that we can to improve our health. It makes it better. So great tips. Love you both. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us from Facebook, from YouTube, from wherever you're listening. Check out hormonesbalance.com. And don't forget Magdalena's Welena. One more shout out for that, Magdalena. So.
Yeah, it's right here. Welena hand sanitizer. Hand cleanser. Sorry, we can't call it a sanitizer yet. We've got an FDA approval pending. So for now, it's a hand cleanser, but it does the job. That's the most important thing.
Yep. Yeah. And then just back to Deborah, a little bit of vodka, as long as, that has other benefits. All right. Maybe not as a hand sanitizer or a hand cleanser. Thank y'all for listening. Continue to post. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about single moms, how easy it is to be a single mom. And I have a lot to say on this topic. Most definitely. I'm going to go yell at my kids in a second. Maybe I'll beat them. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. So join me for that. How great it is, how easy it is to be a single mom. It's a really valuable lesson, whether you're single, whether you're a mom or not. But, we're going to have fun, and we're going to talk on some very serious subjects. So I look forward to that. Thank you. And don't forget, share this. People that love this will need this information. Who doesn't need hand cleanser, hand sanitizer, and to know what's going to work, what's not going to work, and the risk benefits of that. So share this from Dr. Anna C. or from my YouTube channel, and definitely tag people that need to see it. Thank you guys for being with us.
Bye. Bye, everybody.